Ladies and gentlemen, it is April 13th, 2016, and this is the Daily Code. I'm Chris, assertchris, on Twitter, on Twitch, and here we learn about coding. And generally it's because I bash my head against a wall with a code problem long enough that some sense comes out of things. Today, we are looking at a Laravel registration page. So here's the thing, I've been working on some code to create PDF books from Markdown, and the code only starts from the point where I already have a GitHub URL. But I'm thinking, if I'm going to use this thing to produce however many books, I probably need a way to create projects. So that to the projects I can assign Git URLs and do the various settings like pick themes for the books and enter dimensions for the books. So to do that, I'm going to need an application. And since I'm a web developer, the hammer for the nail is going to be some web framework. My favorite at the moment is Laravel. So sorry, Silverstripe. It's Laravel at the moment, and because of that, I thought it would be a good idea for me to refamiliarize myself with how Silverstripe's registration stuff works. So what I've done is I have created a new Laravel application. All I've said is composer create project Laravel. So this is the latest stable version that's available. It's 5.2, I think, and I have opened up the docs. Well, almost. I have almost opened up the docs. And I haven't created a registration page in Laravel in quite a while, so it's probably different from the last time I tried, and that's not a bad thing, but it means that I need to start looking at the docs again and just basically refamiliarizing myself, which is the point. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. So I thought we could do three main things. The first would be to see what the default Laravel registration stuff looks like. Now, the application ships with a bunch of models, in fact one I think, which is the user model. And this is a representation of the database entry, or the database table that Laravel uses to authenticate users with the default driver. So by the looks of things, I mean, I think if I go into database migrations, yeah, so there's a users table here as well. If I run the migrations for this on a new database, it's going to create this users table. So I will do that quickly. Let me just open up SQL Pro. Yay! And let's add a database. We'll just call this Laravel registration just for now. And then we can put these details into the config. So I'll actually just put them straight into the env file because this is a brand new application and I don't need to worry about protecting any details of it so far, but the database is Laravel registration. The username is root and there is no password. I really care about security. On my local system, it would seem. Now I can run php artisan migrate. Will that create? Yes, okay, so that does. And let's see what that's made for us. If we refresh here, we have the migrations table because we've run Laravel migrations, and every time we run migrations, it's going to start generating stuff in this table, which is fine. We have a password resets table, so this is what Laravel ships with initially just to allow users to reset their passwords and change their passwords, I'm guessing. And a users table with the stock standard stuff, a username, an email, a password, and some timestamps. Okay, fine. So that takes care of running the migrations that ship with Laravel. And there's a down thing that you can roll back the migrations if you want to. We saw the database table created from this password, create password resets table migration. And so those correspond to the fields that we have in fillable. These are what we can set through mass assignment. That's great. And these are hidden when we export this user as a JSON object or as an array through any kind of API. So, how do we use this stuff? Well, the model is available, but the templates, I don't think the templates are available yet. So we can't just boot up this application. I'll demonstrate php artisan serve. Let's just get this directory here quickly. And so we've got a web server going here, and we can open this up in a browser. And we have the Laravel welcome page. But we have no routes to go to. If we go to HTTP routes, there's just the welcome page route. So there's no way for this application at the moment to allow people to register. And to do that, we actually have to run php artisan make auth. And that creates a whole bunch of stuff. So since we're in routes, let's look at what that is. We've got RAD Off, and I can't seem to find the declaration to this, but we also have a home page. What does that home page look like when we go to it? Home. This looks like we've got some views to work with, which is great. It also created a home controller. Let's look at what's in there. So this is a base controller, everything extends, and the home controller says, okay, everything in this appears to need the auth middleware. And we render this home view. What's in that home view? Let's see, home, you're logged in. Okay, so home controller on construction is saying that requests to actions in here must come from authorized users. And as a result, when we have the index that loads the home view, we can't see that. We're going to keep on getting redirected back to login or to register. So that takes care of this route here. But what's happening in RAD Auth? That's interesting. We have some stuff here. Let's see, do we have anything added in kernel? So there's some middleware here, but I don't think that takes care of it. Let's go and find the Laravel facade that tells us what that route class goes to, and then let's go and inspect the class. Let's see, those are service providers, here's aliases, auth is support, facades, auth. We probably want to go into vendor, into the Laravel code. Let's see, let's go into the Laravel code, and we're looking for auth and auth service provider. What's access gate? Not that. That's not what I want to see. User resolver. So I kind of don't know. Oh, route auth. I'm looking in the wrong place. This is route auth that I want to look at. Routing. Let's see. Do we have anything here that would indicate auth? Function auth. That's not available. So this is a mystery. How is it actually executing whatever that is? That's very interesting. Now, I know because I read through the docs earlier that eventually it is getting here. That the login page, that basically the login and the registration stuff is powered by this. However, oh, there we go. That's probably the trait we need. Okay. Authenticates users. So this gets loaded into that auth controller. Show login form. Okay, so this is this form here, I'm guessing. And if we look there, auth authenticate, we should be able to match that to property exists login view. Then use that, otherwise use auth authenticate. But there isn't an auth authenticate view here. Oh, if view exists view, return that. Otherwise do auth login. So that's what this form is here. Okay, so this is the login form that gets displayed there. Here, which is good. What else do we want to see? When we click on register, I assume that's also going to be part of this. So registers users, show the form. So if there's a property called register view in auth controller, use that view, otherwise auth register, which is here. And that's fine. Okay, so the default forms seem to be good enough, and the controller maps to specific stuff. What does password controller do? Resets password is the trait. Show link request form. So this is when you hit this place here, forgot password. Now there's obviously routing in here. How does it do this routing? I'm curious. How does it do this routing? Is this a service provider that gets loaded in? Let's see. What service providers do I have here? Do I have an auth? Okay, I have an auth service provider. Request rebind handler? No. I've been in this class and I haven't seen routes for this. But it does request route. So maybe I do need to look here. Request guard. Sorry, route or route. Route auth, I think, is the thing it adds. Let's just go back and check again. Route auth. So it must be adding that somewhere, and I have a feeling it's doing it through here. Not that file, but that it's adding the routes somewhere in this auth library through some kind of macro functionality. It's unconfirmed. I don't know that that's exactly what's happening. Set request, this app refresh, request guard, set request. I've got an idea. I'll search in path. Find in path route. Let's see, do we find it there? Okay, that's the stub. So I don't see any mentions of it here. I wonder if it's part of the routing then. Is it built into here? Function auth. Really? It's built into here. What class is this? This is router.php. That's very interesting. Okay, so the routes are set up as part of the routing library, even though they reference stuff that only gets placed there by auth, which is very interesting. And these are hard-coded, so even if you did generate controllers that showed these forms and did the various login and logout stuff, you would still have a problem unless they were in exactly the same place, which is interesting. This is typical authentication routes, fine. So this is a lot more convention than configuration, which is not the worst thing, but it's a lot of routes it's doing it, hey? It's a lot of routes, 8 routes in total, and every one of them has hard-coded controller and action names. So that's interesting. If we wanted to customize, we couldn't use route auth in this case, because there doesn't seem to be a way to override this. We would just have to use plain routes, which is okay. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. So what does this give us? Can we actually register? Now that I've done all this digging. Assertchris, let's get some email stuff. Oh, yes. I saw something a while ago, and I'm not sure if I forked it or started or not. Forks. It was a thing to trap email when testing a Laravel application, and I can't remember what it was called. But I don't see it here. Can I go start? Is that actually a URL? No. Laravel test email. So there was a library for this. There was a library for this. I don't want to do mockery stuff because that seems dumb. And I retweeted this. That's pretty weird. I'm probably not going to find it now. Anyway, lets you stream your coding sessions tutorials. Oh, sweet. Anyway, maybe this is it over here. It seems like very long ago. I retweeted something about Laravel, but now I'm never going to find it. assertchris Laravel mail. I'm just trying to find this library because it was really sweet. Live. Oh, advanced search. Sorry, this was probably very boring to watch. That's not what I want. This is probably very boring to watch, but I really need to find this. From these accounts, assertchris. Any of these words, Laravel, mail, email, include retweets. I'll find it. Twitter advanced search, the first and probably the last time I ever used this. Oh, some things by Matt Stauffer, the one, the only. Could it be that far away? Wow. So, I have no idea where this is. I really desperately wanted to find a way to send emails, catching them locally, and there was a GIF about it, and I retweeted this like days ago, but I'll never find it if I try. Redirect instead of send emails. This was a very neat way of doing this. And I have to find it. I have to find it. No. Okay, fine. I'll try and search for it just now. But let's register. Okay, let's register. So let's just give a simple password that I will always remember. Hit enter. Landing page. So it's logged me in automatically, and I can log out. Okay. Apparently, oh, that's fine. I don't know why I was. So I can log in again. Nope. I wanted to check the reset password stuff. Login, forgot password. And this is going to break because I haven't set email stuff up. But I should have the password reset token in here. And then I should be able to say reset and the token. And does this work? Yes, it does. Let me just try logging in directly with that. Ooh. So, long story short, the password, the registration generation stuff is actually pretty neat. You need to know a few details about how to set it up. And if you want to customize it, you need to know a few more details. And there's a bit of hard coding, and that's great. But I think it's a good start. And I think the next step is actually testing this. Creating some unit tests for this, or I guess they're integration tests, more accurately. And checking that the stuff works. Because at some point we're going to customize, or we're going to add some fields to registration, or we're going to make some extra step. And we want to know it carries on working. So what we'll do after the break is we'll set up some tests to test the functionality that's in here right now. And then we'll customize it a bit and watch the tests break and fulfill the tests, fix them, change them, until we have a system that looks and works like we want and is tested like we want, and then we'll look at customization. But we're going to do that after the break. So I will see you in just 2 minutes. Listen to some music, and I'm going to get some water.